So, Barrett, the first question I have for you is you're a defensive coordinator. You're scheming this team up, this Cardinals team. What are you doing to offset or at least contain Kyler Murray? Right now. All right, so we kind of went through the numbers yesterday when it in regards to the Cardinals and almost like, unilaterally here across the board, offense and defense, they're sort of very mediocre, and hence the 2-2 record as well. So, Barrett, the first question I have for you is you're a defensive coordinator. You're scheming this team up, this Cardinals team. What are you doing to offset or at least contain Kyler Murray?
You got to make sure that you stay in your rush lanes. You got to stay rush. Your rush lanes have to be disciplined. Stay in your rush lane, and they call it mush rush. Like, they press the pocket, and once you get to the level of the quarterback, you literally have to stop,
hold your ground,
and stay right there, or press him into Kyler Murray, because if he can get anywhere outside or in those rush lanes, that's when he's more of a threat to you. If you keep him in a pocket, I don't see him necessarily beating you from the pockets. Number one, he can't see over anybody.
No,
right.
He wants to be out there running around because he can see the field then. He's not running to necessarily gain yardage. Like, Hurts wants to gain yardage. He's running around to see if he can get a pass down the field. You know what I'm saying? So his objective is to get out, run around, see how if I can, get guys to get open. Because right now, looking at his receivers, AJ Green is not too healthy right now. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he's playing or not.
Right.
Yeah.
Then Rondale Moore is also nicked up a little bit.
Yep.
So right now they got what is his name?
Marquise Hollywood Brown.
They got Hollywood Brown, and then they have
and Zach Ertz.
Yeah. Zach Ertz. Yeah.
And Greg Dortch is the receiver. So right now they only have really two and a half receivers. And then you got then you have Zach Ertz.
If you look at and I'm not comparing the two by any stretch of the imagination, but if you look at Drew Brees' career when he was with the Saints, he was a shorter quarterback. Now, he couldn't run like Murray, but if you notice, he always took much deeper drops than most quarterbacks, and he did most of his damage outside of the tackles. If his timing routes, when he dropped back 7 steps or more, if it wasn't right there, he would always float one way or the other to deliver his throws because he had difficulty seeing. Mm-hmm. But he was a master of that. Kudos to Pete Carmichael for identifying that, and he was a master of that. And that's what made. Now I'm not comparing Kyler Murray to Drew Brees by any way, shape, or form, but that's Kyler Murray is not as accurate on the move as a Drew Brees. Right. Kyler Murray scares you to death with his ability to just take off at any given moment, more so than anything else. He has a strong arm. He can go deep, no question about that, but he's not as accurate. And I think he led the league in passes batted down last year.
Yeah,
and that's on the offensive brain trust for not identifying, well, maybe we need to devise deeper steps for him so he's able to see better, deliver better, but you also have the guys up in front who can hold the line until he plants his foot to do what he needs to do. But Barrett's right. If you can keep him in the pocket, and I've seen teams try to do that, and he still somehow finds a way to get out, whether he finds a crease up in the middle or whatever the case may be. And that's why I said I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles put a spy on him. Whether it's CJ, whether it's Josiah, I would not be surprised one bit. And even that might not work. I'm more worried about Kyler Murray taking off and running than I am for him for a high percentage in passing.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're going to be backbreaker kind of plays on drives. He's going to get going to get that 7 yards where you thought you had him hemmed in, and he's going to make those plays. I think the other thing, and this isn't so much an X and O thing as it is just just watching him. If you force him or the offense to a bunch of 3 and outs or into a mistake early, he gets mopey. Yeah, he does. Yeah. But the one thing you can't do, they don't quit. Like if you watch that Raiders game, they look dead and buried, and he brought him back. So I'm not saying that he's all of a sudden just going to completely check out, but there's tends to be some bad body language there with him.
Yeah, that's just one of his problems. But one thing I will say is they can go out there in their 12 personnel and 13 personnel. Like Trey McBride was the best tight end in the draft last year from Colorado State. Really good tight end. Max Williams is also a pretty good tight end. So when you run systems like that, you actually use Zach Ertz is like a slot receiver. And he's good enough to be that type of guy and have your tight end in. That way you have your three receivers out there because you use Zach Ertz as a wide receiver.
The worst,
and he's off to a pretty good start so far. But
yeah, absolutely.
The worst thing that could happen to a defense is to allow Murray consistently to get outside, because the outside containment has to freeze, the outside backer has to freeze, and whoever's covering in the secondary has to freeze, because the mindset is, if he takes off, I cannot let this dude get past me because you're not going to catch him from behind. Right. That's the most effective weapon. If he floats outside, whoever you're covering has to have one eye on him and one eye on whoever you're covering, and that's when those people are freed up. Because you take one eye off of who you're covering, all of a sudden he makes a move one way or the other, and he's going to get the ball there. He's going to get the ball there. You know.
Oh yeah.
You know, that little weeble wobble, he'll find a way to get the ball.
Problem is getting him down like a weeble wobble. It's not easy.
Yeah,
it is not easy. Yeah. So they opened the season with a loss at home to the Chiefs, 44-21. Then they went to the Raiders and won 29-23 in overtime. Then they lost to the Rams at home, 20-12. Then they went to Carolina and won 26-16. Interesting. Out of the four, they played two at home. They've lost both at home. You know, take it for what it's worth. Either they're desperate to win at home or they're bad at home. I don't know which. You know, there's going to be a heavy Eagles contingency flying out there because it's one of the few nice weather trips that you can make this year.
And I like that stadium also. It's a great stadium. It's a dome stadium, but it's a nice stadium. Big, spacious stadium, huge parking lot. You know, it's a great weekend getaway just to get out there, see a football game, and enjoy some warm weather.
All right, let's go to the flip side, Barrett. What are they going to try to do on the defensive side to slow down this Eagles offense?
Well, I mean, they really know that Jalen is a weapon, and they know what he can do with his legs. Their secondary isn't that good, so number one, they're going to have to try to blitz him on the outside, just to get some pressure on him.
Yep.
And they have a guy that can run with Jalen Steph, and that's Isaiah Simmons. From Clemson. He's like that hybrid guy, 6'4", 240 pounds, but he runs like a 4.3 40. He can do everything. He can cover, he can blitz, he can rush the passer. He's like their joker. He's that ace in the hole that they can have. They really can run and be effective as a guy that's gonna lock on to Hurts. So they'll probably use him as that spy to nullify Jalen Hurts and his ability to run. So they're going to try to make Jalen Hurts throw from the pocket. That's their biggest thing. I don't think they're a firm believer that he can do that. So they're going to try to do that. And when he starts lighting them up and heating them up, they're going to start blitzing them. And I think that's the only way that you could really stop him, because at this point they don't have a lot as far as
a pass rush.
Yeah, the rest of the pass. I mean, you got J.J. Watt. But
he might not play. You see, speaking of which, you see that they're talking about him getting some kind of surgery because he had this atrial fibrillation. AFib, yeah. He may not even play. They're talking about his season might be over.
Yeah, it's and he's got 2 sacks. He's still formidable, but they don't have much else. I mean, they have 4 total, and he's got 2 of them.
4 total, yeah. And he may not be there on Sunday.
Right. And then they have Zen and Collins. I don't remember you guys remember him.
Oh yeah,
he was a linebacker that he got in some trouble though, but he was a baller, man. He was like he was one of those versatility guys, could do everything, stand up linebacker, rush the pass, stuff like that. So I like his ability to do that. But they try to run a 4-down front, but they're actually a 3-down front. For real. They want to be a 30 front.
They still have Budda Baker on the back end, and Budda, I think, is one of the better safeties in the game, but he can't cover all 3 positions.
Right.
I keep getting back to, like, I'm trying to convince myself that this will be a game, and I don't see much here with the Cardinals. I hate thinking that way. You know what I mean? Like, it's the second you do that, that team's going to whip you. But I don't see a really good team here. I see a very mediocre, even less than mediocre team in this car. And the Eagles are 5-point favorites or whatever that's worth. But I just don't see like, who am I afraid of on defense there that we just talked about?
Right.
Well, Marcus Golden can rush the passer too.
He can.
Okay.
But they haven't. See, that's the thing. They have the talent in their front seven.
Yeah.
But they haven't been getting home.
Yep.
But you look at this team just from what a year ago. Look at what they lost. Jordan Hicks, Chandler Jones, DeAndre Hopkins is not playing yet. So they're handcuffed. The offensive line can't open up holes for the running game. The leading rushers averaging less than 4 yards a carry. They don't have a consistent go-to deep threat. Now, Marquise Brown, he can flat out fly. They haven't been able to get him the ball as much as they should.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So, and you got Zach Ertz.
And they can't run the ball.
They can't run the ball.
They want to run the ball.
Right, but they can't.
They have the personnel to run the ball. What I mean?
But the offensive line hasn't been that good.
Right, exactly. I mean, I don't know why they go and get everybody from the Giants as far as an offensive line.
Yeah, I don't get
They
that.
got Will Hernandez from the Giants, Justin Pugh from the Giants. I don't understand it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, Connor and Benjamin are their two guys, and Kyler runs it a bunch too. But it's
although we can't really laugh at the Giants' offensive line right now, considering who's leading the league in rushing.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how the Giants are doing it. I can't wait to look at that team closer. But you always say a running back is only as good as the people blocking in front of them. And when you consider how many offensive linemen they lost in training camp, they lost 6 centers or something like that. They had problems at guard, got problems at tackles. And all of a sudden, this kid is leading the league in rushing through 4 weeks. And so he ain't running by himself. You can't run a 1 against 11 on defense. So,
but he is so good, man. He makes people miss, man. And
he does.
Yeah, he's been awesome.
He's strong.
Right.
He has been awesome. I don't know. I guess you give their O-line some props. I think they're being coached up well. I don't know if there's a ton of talent there, and credit to Saquon. He's been just so awesome. But yeah, it's hard to believe what they're doing so far. The Giants. I think that ends this week in London. I think they go down to the Packers.
Yeah, but the only problem is Green Bay's giving up 5 yards a carry in the run game. Green Bay has everything else you need. They still can't stop the run. They haven't fixed the run problems.
Yeah. Well, it may be a situation where Dable says, we're going to, guess what, Saquon, you get 40 carries. We're keeping Rodgers off the field.
Could be.
Why wouldn't you? I mean, are you really going to have, if Daniel Jones is healthy, you're going to have him drop back a ton? I'm not.
No. What did he have? 8 of 13 last week?
Yeah. And no thanks.
And they ran for 262 yards or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm not. I'm with you. I'm with you there for sure. We'll do a whole NFL dive coming up at 2:00. So look, I think there's a lot to be encouraged about. Any other keys in this one? Like Barrett, I know last week you talked about getting Goddard involved in tight end screens, and that really worked well. Anything else you see specific here on either side of the ball here with the Eagles against this team?
That's going to be a huge game with with them passing the ball, man. This could be a passing game. Now, I know we just came off running the rock consistent like that. I just don't see I don't see this Cardinal team being able to handle what we have on the outside. It's going to be like pitch and catch, from what I saw on film, because they can't really generate a lot of pressure up front, and you got to take advantage of the matchups. They're going to sit back in zone, man. They're going to sit back in zone, and they're going to eat them up in the on the outside. They're going to eat them up.
Could be Minnesota all over again.
That's more than likely that's how it's going to look.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be able to throw whenever they want to throw, and it's just too appetizing for a team to go out there and get a big lead by just throwing the ball like that, especially with the receivers that we have. But the only thing that comes with a lot of 3 and outs when you want to throw the ball consistently like that. You don't want to do that.
Well, it feels like considering how good he is underneath and then yards after catch or slants, it could be a lot of A.J. Brown.
Yes.
It could be a lot of Goddard. Not that Smith can't do his thing. Of course he can, but it feels like it plays into the strengths of those players.
And that's the strength that, I think they're going to attack. And it's just because they can, they're going to do it. And I truly believe that they're going to do it.
All right. Let me ask you if my lot is down, we know Dillard, while he can start practicing, is not ready. Did you like what you saw at left tackle if it's not Mailata, or would you do something else?
No, I think they'll be fine with Driscoll being there.
Okay.
They'll be fine with Driscoll being there. Can't afford to get anybody else hurt.
No.
You look at the shuffle, and let me look at their
Malu had to come out as well
to
finish that game. And I think Dickerson for like a minute, and then he came back in, was dominant. But that's what kind of what it was.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the practice squad. I don't know who they could bring up. They got Roderick Johnson. Nah, they're not gonna bring him up from the practice squad. You know, they gotta have to bring somebody up or sign somebody. So Jared Williams, man, it's thin. It's thin for him right now. So I think Jared Williams, they'll bring up Jared Williams. They gotta have to bring somebody up because Dillard won't be ready to play. I think Marlotta's gonna be okay. I think he will be okay. He could have came back in, but he just didn't because they didn't have to. But I think Jordan Mailata will be okay.
Okay. Yeah, and again, Nick continues to give you the optimistic thing. He thinks everybody may play. Yeah, it's smart. I mean, I will say this: Jake Elliott spoke as well, and he said, "I'm far less pain. He's walking without a limp, but he can't guarantee anything. So at least, for whatever that's worth, they brought in a kicker, which you have to do at that position. It's not like you have just the surplus of guys laying around.
and you definitely don't want Sopas.
No, I don't want him punting, let alone kicking.
Another aspect you got to worry about with this Cardinals team, they love to do plays of trickery. You got to be careful. They love their trickery. I don't care if it's a punting. I don't care if it's a field goal. I don't care whatever the case. They love to try to catch you off guard every now and then, and those are the kind of things also that can be momentum shifters. Got to be wary of that.
Oh, that's very real. So here's what the Eagles have coming up. So we know it's the Cardinals this week, the huge one next week, Dallas here Sunday night game, and of course the Eagles have struggled against the Cowboys in a big way. Then they got a bye week, a little bit earlier than usual. Then they're home against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh making the announcement yesterday that they're going to go with Kenny Pickett as a starting quarterback. That's a 1 o'clock the following week. That's the day before Halloween. That's the 30th of October. Then it's a Thursday, quick turnaround, Thursday night at Houston. Then if it's still Wentz at that point at the quarterback spot, it's Wentz coming here on the 10th. So that's what they have coming up in the near future. And again, we pointed this out, what was it, last week, that they're favored in every game going forward right now. Certainly that wouldn't change last week because you won.
This is like similar to last year in terms of the quarterbacks they're facing. This is weird. You came in from Sales. Think about Sales, okay, down in Houston. Daniel Jones, Carson Wentz, Mills, Sales, whatever name, Mills. It could be what's that mill? That made Quaker Oats. What's the name of the company? Mills.
General Mills.
General Mills. There you go. I mean, think about it. The quarterback outside. Okay, they got Aaron Rodgers. They got to face, who's still trying to find his way with a young group of receivers. Who else is a top flight quarterback on the schedule this year?
Well, Dallas, it's complicated, right? Because Cooper Rush is playing well, but Dak Prescott may come back for that game. How rusty is Dak? What do you do if you're Dallas and Cooper Rush has another good week? That's going to be a really tough call. So you're right. That could sort of offset the Dallas game. Then it's Pickett, Mills, a mess of Carson Wentz or Heineke at that point.
I'm just thinking about it.
Matt Ryan's been a disaster. Really? Yeah, you're right. Until week 12, until you get Rodgers.
That's it.
That's it.
That's all you got.
But that's kind of the league too.
Well, it is. Well, now we could look at Buffalo's schedule compared to that's a lot different.
Yeah.
But you got to play who you got to play. No questions. If I'm Mike McCarthy, and if Jerry Jones tries to press me to play Dak next week, especially if Dallas beats the Rams this week, which I'm picking Dallas to beat the Rams this week.
Yeah.
Man, I'll punch Jerry Jones right in his 80-year-old face. Man, you better go sit your behind down somewhere. Let me run this until it's otherwise. Dak, when he's fully ready.
Wow.
That's big right there,
man. You got Dallas beating
the Rams? Hey, Dallas, guess who's right behind the Eagles with 15 quarterback sacks?
Yeah, Dallas.
Hey, I'm playing for whatever reason. Right now, Cooper Rush has the mojo. These boys are playing for Cooper Rush, right?
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
Yeah, they are.
The defense is picking it up. And I just saw Javon Curse, who hadn't played, could have played last week for Dallas. He might be coming back this week. Now add him to that defense because I think, and I said it earlier this week, I think Dallas front guy are the best get off the ball in the game right now in terms of just quickness off the ball. I think they're the best. Man, if you watch them play, they're so quick on the quarterback right now. I don't know what the heck they're doing. But they just have,
good players and a good coordinator. Quinn's a good coordinator.
Right. DeMarcus Lawrence gets off the rock, man. And you got guys that can, you got guys, that like what's his name? Osa. I don't. I'm not even going to try to say.
I don't even trying to pronounce that. But Michael Parsons said, "Hey, everybody, follow me."
And Armstrong.
Armstrong,
he can rush the passer also.
Mm-hmm.
And Kearse hasn't even played. You know, he hasn't been playing for him. I mean, I put him back in that mix. You know, so I'm saying, for whatever reason, people want to hear Dallas is on a roll right now. For whatever the reason, this kid Cooper Rush gives them a spark. He did it last year in Minnesota. Everybody thought, man, Dallas is gonna get handled. I don't know why. That defense played a lights out game against Minnesota. Whenever this kid steps under center, for some reason they play better. Now they have Michael Gallup back on offense. Now you got Kearse coming back on defense, and this kid's balling. If I'm okay, we don't know the severity. Anytime you have surgery on your hand, okay, you know it's bad. But he feels better gripping the ball now. Dak is start. I don't care. Right now, look, I know we're paying you a lot of money, but something's happening here. Something's working here. Why would you mess that up?
I agree with you. The easy answer is money.
Money, straight up injuries. Yeah.
Which here's what my guess would be. They've already said, look, he's having trouble gripping the ball. We're not going to officially ruling him out, but it doesn't look good. He's not playing this week.
He's not playing this week for sure. Yeah.
If I'm them, I'm just trying to preach hey, we're trying to be overly cautious with you, Dak. We don't want you coming back and getting hurt right away. I'm trying to sell him on that. The problem is he's going to be pushing hard to get back for that Eagles game. I guarantee.
Not only that, but then you got the owner who does his radio show. You know, he could be back sooner rather than later. Yep. That means he's having a hand in saying what McCarthy does and the trainers. Totally. He may override the trainers and the head coach.
Yes.
Well, that'll feed right into what we need them to do. Anyways.
Well, I'd be thrilled about that because that's the best thing that could have happened is Jerry Jones and how meddling he is. It's great.
So I would want that simply because, you know what I'm saying, his hand, you know, if you get a pass rush on him, he hits his hand on a helmet, or you come by and Hassan Reddick loves the karate chop
that hand. That's right.
It'll bode well for us. You know what I'm saying? But Cooper Rush, man, we're not. Let me first say this. He's not on the level of a Drew Brees or anybody like that.
No,
you know what I'm saying? We're not saying he's a functional quarterback that can run the offense.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? That's
doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
But something happens when he's out there.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? They play a different game when he's out there.
Well,
the offense is more efficient when he's out there.
Because you want to make sure that that you put him in the best position you can put him in. Sometimes you play harder for the backup because you know that the backup has deficiencies that you're trying to keep from being highlighted. So you'll play a little harder just because you know this guy is not the quarterback that you have in there. That happens all the time.
Yeah,
happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt. All right, let's step aside here. We will we'll continue with the NFL talk coming up. So a couple things that we're going to be hitting in the NFL segment here. We're going to do buying or selling quarterbacks, certain quarterbacks, teams as well. We're going to rank the NFC East wide receiving core.
No. Are you serious?
Every time we go into break.
At exactly 1:31 on this Wednesday, Rob Ellis ditched us again. As Rob was just talking about coming back, we're going to do our NFL segment. We're going to do buy or sell. We're going to rank the top 5 teams, our top 5 teams in the NFC. We're going to talk about he's back again. Look, man, I'm tired of doing your job, man. You either hang around, or you got to start paying me half of what they're paying you. I'm just saying. And you know what? To add to what you were saying, Rob, I have a couple other questions in the NFL segment pertaining to Aaron Rodgers, Denver / Seattle.
Okay.
And a very interesting comment Mike Tomlin made about a player.
Okay. And an injury update for a key player.
Okay.
We'll give you all that. All right. All that and more. Don't go anywhere. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Let's talk about Flynn Tree Services. Flynn Tree Services is an experienced, licensed, and insured Pennsylvania tree services company that will trim or remove any unwanted trees off of your property. They offer cost-effective solutions to any tree problem that you may face. So if you're not really sure, reach out. They may be able to just trim one back a little bit, or if you have to have it taken out completely, they will figure it out for you. All right. And they're just a quick phone call away. They are experts at trimming all types of trees, and they serve southeastern Pennsylvania, South Jersey, and northern Delaware. Flynn Tree Services specializes in tree removal, stump grinding, and tree pruning. Now, keep in mind, we are in the midst of the storm season here, hurricane season as well. It's a great time to have your trees evaluated before they come down with a gust of wind or some hard rain. Go to their Facebook or Instagram page for a sampling of their work. Give Flynn Tree Services a call right now, 610-850-2848, 610-850-2848, or you can visit them online at flynntreeservices.com. That's flynntreeservices.com.